It's been a really busy time in the paranormal community. We've had all sorts go on, and I'm going to be rounding up everything that we've had over the past couple of weeks for you guys to get you just up to speed with everything in just a video you can watch in the background. Starting off with some very serious allegations against Celina Spookyboo. Now, it's worth noting, this is not me specifically calling out Celina Spookyboo, but raising some of the concerns that have been raised from other people surrounding Celina Spookyboo and some antics that went on in court not too long ago. Celina Spookyboo, huge psychic medium, friend of Sam and Colby, and partner to Call Me Chris when it comes to YouTube collaborations, has recently had an expose, per se, put out on her from the Side-Eye Guy, who is a popular debunker here on YouTube. Now, the topic in hand is sort of partially to do with her psychic claims and the, the way that she portrays herself within videos, but it is also to deal with a larger summary of basically something that she put out a couple of years ago, which was a video about her allegedly being stalked by the murderer of Victoria Stafford. Now, apparently, Celina was witness in the trial, or was a witness, sorry, in the trial of Victoria, and after which she was apparently stalked by the killer. Now, Celina Spookyboo did put out a video about this 2 years ago, as you can see, My Stalker, the Murderer, and basically she goes on to talk about, how hard it's been for her, since doing this, but the Side-Eye Guy and Agent F, who the Side-Eye Guy credits for, some support and research within this video, has come forward to basically show that the court transcripts may potentially expose and debunk Celina Spookyboo's stalker story. At least that's the title of the video. Now, just to give some context to show that, this isn't the Side-Eye Guy, taking jabs, roasts, and all the rest of it like we typically tend to see. He actually took quite a serious dive into this.
That I find a video that I'm not sure I should make. Usually I follow my gut and just go for it, but the subject matter today is very delicate and controversial. I'm sure I'll get my fair share of Celina Spookyboo fans who will defend her no matter what. The two big reasons that I went down the path of researching and creating this video today is the alarming and disgusting lies Celina told in that Sam and Colby Hell Week video when she claimed that in the Ferrara school, when the location was operational as an elementary school, that children were being essayed, murdered, and their bodies were incinerated in the school basement boiler.
No? What's up? What's up? What did you see? What did you see?
That's what happened.
What happened? What? Really? What? What are you feeling?
So I get flashes and pictures. It's like someone else's memory in my head. I don't know if it was a teacher or who it was, but I'm sad to see it. I saw a man sitting on a chair, and then a flash. It was different kids.
Let's see if he's rotting in hell or not, I guess.
In the boiler, and they started it up, and then he used a shovel. But I think whatever's left is buried.
I debunked this nonsense when I covered Sam and Colby's Hell Week video several months ago.
Now, obviously, that is kind of the gist of the segue into, pardon the pun, into the video. Now, it's also worth mentioning that down in the description of this video, the Side-Eye Guy put, Celina Spookyboo, in my opinion, is a fake psychic medium. I believe myself and Agent F have found some inconsistencies and flat-out lies in her video where she tells her story about her experience with getting stalked by a real-life murderer. I want to make this clear, and obviously this is why I'm segueing this into the video, because not everyone will read the description of a video, and I think it's important context for the narrative. My issue is with the 23-year-old making the YouTube video, not the 17-year-old girl taking to the stand. I believe this 17-year-old Celina is telling the truth. Alright, so that's obviously worth noting. But within the video, the Side-Eye Guy goes on to talk about a hell of a lot of different things. Obviously, I want to state as well, if you want the full video, because that's the only part of the video I'm going to be using, other parts are just going to be the key takeaway points and a bit of a summary. please go and check out the Side Eye Guy's full video over on his YouTube channel. Anyway, let's continue. So, obviously, the controversial claims by Celina are what segue this video. So, you know, the idea of the video is to address Celina's claims in a Sam and Colby video, Hell Week video, where she alleged that children were being SA'd, murdered, and incinerated in the basement of the boiler of the Farrar school when it was operational. Now, obviously, it's worth noting that there was no credible evidence to back up and support these claims, just what Celina said. Also, I want to caveat as well by stating that I did reach out to Celina when the Side Eye Guy made that first video to try and see if she would, you know, had any comments about it. She didn't respond. Not that I expected a response, but, you know, just for the sake of transparency and for the sake of keeping all sides fair, I did reach out to her. I think she was going through her IVF journey, so she was very busy at that time. So, you know, it is what it is, but just worth noting. Anyway. She also goes on to talk about channeling Lorraine Warren. That's Celina, by the way. So Celina basically expresses her desire to channel the late Lorraine Warren, aiming to emulate the Warrens' paranormal investigation legacy with her husband Adam across North America. Now, the Side Eye compares Celina to Lorraine Warren, suggesting they both have exaggerated claims of real-life murder cases to support their own narratives. Obviously, that's I guess that depends on what your take is on Celina and also on Lorraine Warren. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it, which is the Victoria Stafford case. Now, Celina was a witness in the trial of Victoria, otherwise known as Tori Stafford's killer. So, the Side Eye Guy accuses her of exaggerating her involvement in the case for attention, noting discrepancies between her YouTube account and the court testimony. So, obviously, people are going to read this and be like, oh, she lied in court. She didn't lie in court, and that's why I found it important to read out the Side Eye Guy's description. Because basically within the video what he's stating is within the video that she made, right, she may have exaggerated some of the claims that she stated and made herself a bit more of a main character within the court than she actually potentially was based off of the court transcripts. That's worth noting. So there was an alleged stalking incident, of course. So Celina claims in her YouTube video that she was stalked by Tori's killer, who contacted her via an app called Zeus, found her workplace and parked near her car. However, these details were not mentioned in a court testimony, leading the Side Eye Guy to question their validity in the claims. And then in court, Celina did not mention the stalking incident or a significant phone call from the killer on the day of Tori's murder, despite opportunities to do so. And the Side Eye Guy suggests that she may have either forgotten or potentially fabricated these details for the sake of her YouTube video. Now, it's also worth noting that, you know, I think people, when they see debunkers, they think of them as very hard-hitting people who will just go straight for the jugular and won't play both sides and won't be like, maybe she forgot, maybe there's this, maybe there's that. But in this video, I think it's very fair to say that the Side Eye Guy does play both sides. You know, he says this is what the transcript says for a fact, this is what her video says for a fact. Now, is there a possibility that things were forgotten? Possibly, but there's also a chance that it was exaggerated. And then obviously when that was the whole point in linking it back to the Farrar School claims is, you know, it's not, in his opinion, not out of the realms of possibility for Celina to make these bold, assertive claims that may not necessarily be true to, you know, progress a narrative for the sake of potential views. Just saying. Now, there's also some court testimony discrepancies. So in court, Celina did not mention, of course, the stalking incident or that significant phone call, like I stated. And, you know, there's also a claim of exaggeration or half-truths from the Side Eye Guy. So the Side Eye Guy points out some inconsistencies, such as Celina claiming that she released 500 balloons for Tori, while an article confirms it was around 300, and she failed to credit a friend who helped. He believed that Celina sensationalizes her story for clout and views. Obviously, some people would look at it as, you know, a couple of hundred balloons, what's the point? But, you know, it's, I think it's the point is, you know, it's the idea that that's a sensationalized, potentially sensationalized fact. So what else could potentially be sensationalized? Anyway, There was also an FBI misstatement. So Celina incorrectly claimed that the FBI was actually involved in the Tory case, which occurred in Canada. But the FBI has no jurisdiction in Canada, only in the United States, and this is cited as another example of her embellishing some potential details. Now, PTSD and trauma claims. Now, Celina states that she suffers from PTSD due to the stalking and the Tory case, but the side-eye guy doubts the extent of her trauma, especially given her behaviour in ghost hunting videos, where she appears unaffected by loud noises and knocking. Now, I'm not going to pass judgment on that or comment, because I know that PTSD and trauma can come in all shapes and sizes, and I've seen it firsthand in people, so I'm not going to pass comment, but it was a point that was made within the video. Now, there's also a moral critique from the side-eye guy, where he basically criticises Celina for making some very serious, unverified claims about the Farrar School, which he believed cheapens her narrative about Tori's tragedy, and he views her psychic medium claims as unreliable and potentially attention-seeking. But despite his skepticism, and this is something that I must mention, the side-eye guy acknowledges that the events likely affected Celina to some degree and urges viewers not to send hate to her channel, and he credits Agent F for the research and assistance and encourages viewers to read the court transcripts for their own opinions. Now, I want to also extend that sentiment based off of this video. Although I do like to play, you know, straight down the middle and not pass judgment, because that's not my place to do so, I think other people could potentially do that. So I also want to extend that notion. Don't go over to any channel, whether it be the side-eye guy or whether it be Celina Spooky Boo from this video, because ultimately there is something that has happened, all right, and that is the bottom line of it. But how much may have potentially happened actually that they stated in court compared to their video is obviously what's up in the air. So please do not go over to anyone's YouTube channel or YouTube videos spreading negativity or anything like that. But what do you guys think? Like I said, if you want the full video from Celina, it's the My Stalker the Murderer video that she uploaded 2 years ago. And if you want the Side-Eye Guy's full video, it's over on his channel, and it's called Court Transcript Exposed and Debunks Celina Spooky Boo's Stalker Story, The Truth Revealed. So obviously go over to those videos if you are interested and check them out for yourselves, and then you can get your own kind of full narrative and idea on it. We've also got obviously the huge news about the potential purchase of a property from Elton Castee and Matt Rife. Where in God's green earth have Elton Castee and Matt Rife bought? If you've been keeping up with the paranormal news over the kind of past week or 2 weeks, you'll know that Elton Castee from the Overnight YouTube channel and comedian Matt Rife, who of course is his friend, have been teasing a potential, well, not even a potential purchase, it is a purchase of a paranormal location somewhere in the globe, but nobody has a Scooby-Doo about where. And they've obviously left all of these little nuggets of information just kind of scattered across the internet in the hopes that people might potentially tease or get something out of it, right? So it's worth also noting, right, that the Conjuring house, I know that's a place that everyone's kind of drawing back to because of the recent controversies that have been going on there, and also because it's basically being left to rot right now by current owner Jacqueline Marie Nunez, who basically isn't even allowed in Rhode Island without getting a potential, well, actually without getting arrested. It's all up in the air, and obviously the Conjuring house is the location that everybody wants them to purchase, but I'm going to be totally frank with you guys. I can't imagine that they will get it. Only because Jacqueline Nunez herself has categorically stated it is not for sale under any circumstances. She will not be selling the property at all. Like, full stop. She's not giving it up. Also, the Conjuring house comes at a very steep price. So, just from an AI overview, the rough estimation is for about $1.5 million, alright? So that was what the Conjuring house was sold for. The initial asking price was $1.2 million by Jacqueline Nunez, but of course that's she ended up getting it for $1.525 million. Now, if that's the current valuation, right, let's just take that as a benchmark. There's also all of the renovation work that needs to be done inside the Conjuring house. You've got the sprinkler system that apparently the fire department in Rhode Island stated was completely outdated. You're going to have to probably completely upscale the structure to make sure it's structurally sound, because that was another issue. Apparently there might potentially be some boiler issues over the winter as it was completely left. So you could have potential mold, damp and boiler issues down in the basement. So that's going to have to be fixed. And then you've probably got, you know, some landscaping to do because it's just been left. So, and you've also got the barn, which I don't know if has or hasn't been fixed after the barn fire back in 2024. So you're probably looking at a further $500,000, possibly at the top end, just to updo the place. You're probably looking at around a $2 to $2.2 million investment, depending on, you know, everything. Anyway, not that these guys don't have the money, but they've also teased it in their latest YouTube video, Surviving 2 Nights at Haunted Goatman's Bridge Terrifying Ending, where basically just at the very beginning of the video, they had this announcement.
No! I'm scared of ghosts.
As some of you might know, Matt and I have purchased a haunted location together. We're here now. We're not telling you what it is. Nope. But on July 31st, the entire world will know. Excited?
All the places we could have bought, dude. We could have bought an apartment complex,
yeah.
you know, really played the real estate market, but instead...
Oh, yeah, a couple Bitcoin, maybe...
Probably something more responsible, really.
Okay. All right.
Safer, safer, believe it or not,
sure. Okay.
in this physical world.
Okay.
But instead, we bought one of the most prominent pieces of paranormal history, arguably, in the world.
Ever, at all. Yeah. It still doesn't register with me that this is a reality.
No.
Like, it doesn't register with me. Like, it's not like it's not a dream. It's not a theory. It's not like a text to you anymore. It's like, it's real.
It feels so made up.
It's real, and it's ours to do whatever. Like, it's ours. You know what I mean?
It feels like this is one of your pranks from like 8 years ago.
Doesn't it?
A little bit. But I signed paperwork, so, legally I know it's not a bit.
But it's all of the crazy things that we'd ever want in any haunted location we've ever been to, we can have here.
It's the perfect groundwork.
Okay. That's all we're saying for now. That's all we're saying for right now. That's it. That's it.
Stay tuned.
July 31st. It's happening.
The video you... Now, obviously, that's the part that they started out with. And it's important that to read the bits underneath, because obviously that's providing a lot of really good context. The first part, live stream from location we bought July 31st at 9 PM EST on this very channel. And then if you fast forward, this will be paranormal history, and we're opening it to the public. And then this has been in the works for a while. It's finally happening. Be the first ones to know and stay at the most haunted place in the world. Now, obviously, this is all drawing to the Conjuring house. Because obviously the Conjuring house is stated and touted to be the most haunted place in the world. Also, we know for a fact that the Conjuring house has got this kind of woodland background. All right, it's got the woodland around it. We've seen it in Sam and Colby's Hell Week video from back in 2024, and also there was the basement video that Elton made as a little premiere kind of like check it out kind of video that he made a couple of days ago. Now, many people are talking about it being the Conjuring house. I would love it to be the Conjuring house, truly, but there are videos like on J Cart's Arts has also made a video about this. In one of his comments, someone stated, "I'm in a paranormal group, Facebook group for the Conjuring house. They have vehemently denied that it has been sold. She pulled up public records and such. There is one member of the group that lives near the house, and she claims no one has been in there for months. She said the grass and the grounds have not been kept up, so I'm not sure. I think it would be great for someone to take it over. Matt and Elton would be Elton and Matt would be a great place for the justice." Now, if the documentation proves that, you know, it's not been sold, there's an argument to be made there. I don't know where this could be. A lot of people have touted a lot of different locations. I'm gonna struggle to get into speculation, but it's also worth noting that the live stream is now readily available on the Overnight YouTube channel. Now, for me, it's starting on August 1st at 2 AM because I'm living in the UK. I would absolutely love to find out where this place is. Down in the description, Matt Rife and Elton Castee are live streaming from the haunted house that they've bought to make a formal announcement and explore everything that will be happening in this paranormal piece of history over the next decades. That's all the information that we will have in the description until it's announced. This is being filmed normally in landscape and will be on our Patreon. So, where is this haunted location? Obviously, the thumbnail suggests this kind of thing. I don't think that this is going to be the actual location. I think this is just stock footage that they've used for the sake of a good thumbnail. Who the bloody hell even knows? But all I know is that I am looking forward to August 1st for me, and you know, July 31st for everyone else. Feels like I'm getting cheated, but it's just the time difference. Because I'm keen to find out what is going to be happening and where in the world they've bought. They claim it to be the most haunted location. Obviously, they are selling it hard because they're going to want people to come along and they're going to want people to be hyped about it. People are hyped for sure. I just don't think it's the Conjuring house. But just before we got into the nitty-gritty about where Elton Castee and Matt Rife purchased, US Ghost Adventures has been called out yet again for some very dodgy business practices and basically utilising the dead for their own benefit and gain. A ghost touring company has recently faced significant controversy, especially by prominent figures within the paranormal community, for their most recent acquisitions and tourist locations. We're going to dive into that today. Apologies for the normal setup. I'm in Greece on my honeymoon, so but the news doesn't stop, so I don't stop. Now, this all came about because Amy Bruni over on her Twitter page put up a post saying, "I'm sure you can all imagine who this is. Mainland company plans to start ghost tours in Lahaina," I believe I've pronounced that right, "where more than 100 died in wildfires." I can't access the link because I'm in Greece and there's some strict GDPR protection laws, which means that I literally cannot physically open this link, unfortunately. But a lot of people jumped on Amy Bruni. This is kind of the first caveat that I want to dive into, claiming that Amy was talking about Zach Bagans and Ghost Adventures, which is really interesting because literally if you look at the link itself, it comes up with US Ghost Adventures, not actual Ghost Adventures, but that's what people seem to jump on. Anyway, so some people stated, so I looked this up, this tour company isn't Zach, but you implied to your followers that it was Zach, which I have defended you in the past for being vague. You took nothing away because you simply stole his name. She said nothing about Zach. She knows who it is. Oh, sorry, I haven't pulled up the page. She knows who it is, and probably other paranormal people do, because they probably do the same kind of nonsense. A lot of people have jumped on this. So a lot of people have claimed that Amy was referencing Zach Bagans because she was very vague in her title. I'm sure you can imagine who this is. But literally, if you tap on the link, you will find out that it's Ghost Adventures. US Ghost Adventures, at least, sorry. Yeah, just people kind of jumping on this. People have defended Amy, fortunately, and it says, "Seems like you made the assumption and blamed it on Amy. That's wild." I saw the comments and nobody corrected people commenting. Just because you corrected it doesn't mean that it's inherently true. And then Amy retweeted this tweet as well, stating, "No, I didn't. This is to the, this isn't Zach, but you're implying it was Zach." She said, "No, I didn't. You took it that way. Anyone who knows the company knows exactly who I'm talking about." Now, US Ghost Adventures, if you've not seen them before, this is their kind of, this is their thing. They've obviously... They're all over the place. So they've got the Lizzie Borden house, they've got the Axe Murder house, they've got like a few properties under their wing, right? And they've been heavily criticised in the past. I've made a video about these guys before for basically bullying out competition and trying to undermine competition, trying to buy them out, trying to get them thrown out of locations so that they can then sweep in and take contracts and stuff like this. Really shady people, a really dodgy company in my honest opinion, and it would appear that that is kind of the sentiment across the board. Now, with regards to this recent stuff that's been going on, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding it. So US Ghost Adventures are a company obviously known for offering ghost tours in various US cities. They've recently faced significant controversy, like stated by Amy Bruni, for example, over plans to launch ghost tours in Lahaina, which is in Maui. Just 2 years after devastating 2023 wildfires that killed over 100 people and destroyed much of the town. So these wildfires swept in, took a lot of lives, destroyed basically the entire cities. And these guys are coming in being like, right, this is the perfect place to set up a ghost tour, because why not, I suppose. The proposed tour, marketed as exploring the quote-unquote chilling and tragic history of Lahaina's historic sites like the old Lahaina prison and old fort, has sparked outrage among locals who view it as exploitative and disrespectful to the community's ongoing grief and recovery. Now, these people have barely recovered, if not haven't even recovered yet from these tragedies, and this company's coming in and basically being like, oh, a lot of people passed here, a lot of tragedies happened in this place. Sounds like the ideal location to really kind of hammer home some ghost tours. So that's why people are kind of up in arms about it a little bit. Now, obviously, the locals have spoken out as well. Critics, including residents like Kiha Kaina, who has also spoken out, who lost her father in the fires, argue that it's too soon to commodify such a recent tragedy, especially in sacred areas with cultural significance, such as those near the Banyan tree and King, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, Kamehameha sites which burials are located. Now, despite the backlash, US Ghost Adventures website and related platforms have basically promoted the ghost walks still, emphasising the historical and supernatural aspects of the tour, led by guides Captain Wally and his dog Thomas. Now, basically, they're still ploughing ahead with it. Even though there's controversy, they're like, forget that, we're just going to carry on as if anyway. So they're basically ploughing on. They're going to go ahead with this. Now, the company has temporarily suspended its Lahaina tours due to wildfires, redirecting visitors to other locations like Hilo or Kailua Kona. I apologise, I have absolutely butchered this, on Big Island. However, the plan to resume tours in Lahaina has drawn comparisons to inappropriate profiteering, with some likening it to the hypothetical tours at Ground Zero shortly after 9/11. People have actually drawn those comparisons and been like, this is kind of on the same scale as people exploiting tours around Ground Zero shortly after 9/11 took place, because, you know, it's a very recent tragedy. Now, but beyond Lahaina, US Ghost Adventures continues to expand, offering tours in 85 cities, including recent additions like Santa Fe and 8 new locations announced in 2023. The company emphasizes entertaining, historic, and authentic experiences. With a team of over 400 employees and guides, also operates historic properties like Lizzie Borden House for overnight stays. Now, a lot of people are not happy about this, and that is, you know, no better seen as in like places like Reddit, which reflects strong disapproval for the Lahaina tours, and locals and commentators calling the initiative quote-unquote disgusting and criticising the company for attempting to profit off of recent trauma. Now, this isn't anything new for this company. You know, they've, like I've said, I've made a video about these guys in the past where, you know, they basically strong-armed companies out of locations, and they try to like put in bad reviews and bad reps and trying to speak to higher ups at locations to try and make it look as if these guys are bad guys just to bully out competition. So, you know, these guys are shady characters. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. And yeah, but with regards to the Amy Bruni stuff, obviously she's not referenced Zach Bagans or whatsoever. I've seen a few people mention that. Some people have even sent me messages being like, oh, Amy's mentioned Zach in a vague message. She's not at all. Yes, it is US Ghost Adventures, but the US at the start is obviously, even that, right? They're trying to like profit off of the Ghost Adventures tagline. Because if you type in Ghost Adventures, obviously, or US Ghost Adventures, you're going to come up alongside all of the Ghost Adventures tags. Which, yeah, you know, it's clever to a degree, but it's also just riding coattails. But here we are. What do you guys make of this controversy? But then we finally got the news about where Elton Castee and Matt Rife had officially bought, and it was bigger than any of us could have possibly imagined. For months now, Elton Castee and Matt Rife have been teasing that they have purchased a haunted location somewhere in the globe, stating that it is the most haunted house and most haunted location on the planet, and they plan to make it a huge tourist spectacle for their fans and ghost and paranormal enthusiasts and the like. And yesterday, at the time of recording, we finally found out where they purchased. Many people speculated that it may have been the Conjuring house, because of course everything that has been up and down with that, with Jacqueline Nunez, the current owner. And obviously that has been dubbed the most haunted place in Rhode Island, arguably in the world, but, you know, in Rhode Island. But the property that they actually purchased was not the Conjuring house, unsurprisingly, because Jacqueline Nunez wouldn't let that go. But it is in Rhode Island. It is still arguably one of the most haunted attractions on the planet, and it's absolutely huge. So the property that they have purchased is none other than the Warrens Occult Museum. Now, obviously, that's absolutely huge. Like, unbelievably huge. This was the announcement that they made, right? Because it's quite a big deal. Obviously, over on their YouTube channel, Matt Rife and Elton Castee Haunted House, they bought a live stream, right? And then down in the description, they've put Matt Rife and Elton Castee live streaming from the haunted house that they bought for the formal announcement, and explore everything that's happening in this paranormal piece of history over the next decades. Obviously, you know, that's all we really knew, but then this was the official announcement that was made.
Welcome to the world's most haunted house that Matt and I purchased. This is pretty crazy. It's doing it again. It's doing it again. This is it. I don't know how. Welcome to Ed and Lorraine Warren's house and museum. Yeah, this is insane. Matt was here with me last week. We got to stop here together and he got to see it. Couldn't be here tonight, but he has been here. He's seen everything that's inside. Yes, everything is inside.
Now, they go on in a minute, we'll carry it on, but they basically own absolutely everything. They own the property, they own all of the haunted artifacts inside, including the Annabelle doll. They are the official owners of the Annabelle doll. This is way bigger than the Conjuring house. Huger than the Conjuring house. This is absolutely ginormous.
So this is nuts. And I want to say this just right now, so everyone 1000% knows and nothing can get misconstrued. Matt and I have purchased Ed and Lorraine's house, which is what this property is. It includes the museum, because the museum is a building that is attached to the house. As far as the items go, Tony and Judy still own all of the artifacts. It is theirs. They have not sold them. Do not let that get misconstrued. They have not sold them. But Matt and I are, let's call it the legal guardians of all of the artifacts, including Annabelle, for the next 5 years at least. So just so everyone knows that as well.
So I guess the way that you should, like the way it could be worded is essentially they are the legal owners of the house, right? Permanently. And with regards to the artifacts, they don't actually own them, but they are, well, in Elton's terms, the legal guardians for at least 5 years. So I guess that's like on a lease deal, I suppose. But the people that own the property and the artifacts, I guess, are still in possession of them, still own them, and they could take them out after 5 years potentially. It's probably a contractual thing, I don't know.
So it is still theirs, but it just felt like the right way to do this all. We're supposed to buying the house and removing them, so we own the house. We will be opening this house up for paranormal investigations. The items will be staying in the museum. And for those of you that do end up staying here for an overnight investigation, you will be allowed as well to investigate in the museum, but under guidance. I cannot, again, this is the guy that screws around a lot on videos. This is the one place I don't. This is the one place that I don't. I have my reasons for it. You get what I'm saying. So that's the truth of it all. Please, just know that. I don't want anything to get misconstrued. And again, for those of you that were maybe like, why was he saying he started this 4 months ago? Something happened a few weeks ago. I'll wait to talk about it till later. That we'll talk about it later. So
with all that being said, yeah, this is the location. Tonight, for the rest of the stream, this isn't it. We're not just like doing this and ending here. Tonight, the plan is to, one, announce the winners that acquired a merch box, and we said there was 3 winners that we're going to get an all-expense-paid trip out to the location that get announced tonight. This is where you're coming. So the people that won that contest.
Can you imagine if someone won it and they were like, nah, fuck that, I don't want to go near Annabelle. Like, they're just absolutely livid. So they do go through the museum, of course, and go through the property. This kind of part here, I'll sift through it. They kind of just go through the location, talk to a lot of people, go through just lots of different things. It's quite exciting, obviously. It's a huge deal because, I thought that the Conjuring house would have been quite big, but this is way bigger than that. This is way bigger than the Conjuring house. The Conjuring house looks like a smudge on a piece of camera compared to this. This is enormous. So massive congratulations to Matt Rife and Elton Castee for acquiring this location. Obviously, you got Sam and Colby, who got the Farrar Elementary School last year. I think Elton Castee and Matt Rife have definitely one-upped them in that sense by purchasing Ed and Lorraine Warren's actual house. Like, that's insane. And then also being the legal guardians of all of their haunted attractions, let's call them, whether you believe it or not. Obviously, over on the Overnight YouTube channel, take a little look for Matt Rife and Elton announce haunted house that they bought live stream. If you want to check out the full thing, it is well over 4 hours long. Obviously, this does coincide as well with the new Conjuring movie that is going to be dropping with, Ed and Lorraine Warren in it. Not the real Ed and Lorraine Warren, but I think it's Patrick Wilson and I forget the lady that plays Lorraine. But, that's coming out later on this year. So it's quite a big deal. So, what do you guys make of this whole situation? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Would you go and visit this location? I haven't seen anything as of right now to where you can, book it. I don't know if that's fully up and running yet. Obviously, the announcement has only just happened, so I'd be intrigued to go out there and take a little look around and a little poke about and see what happens. But I guess, as well, looking back on the situation at hand, when we were talking, and obviously they commented, Elton did on on Jake Hart's video when he said, you're actually closer than you think. It is pretty close because the link between the Conjuring house and the Conjuring and the Ed and Lorraine Warren is like a good little trinity right there. So I guess we were closer than we thought. I would never have guessed this, though. Due to this being such a huge purchase in the paranormal world, even huge figures and people like Zach Bagans spoke out about it over on their Twitter pages. The sale of the Warrens Museum from Elton Castee and Matt Rife has been one of the biggest things, not only in the paranormal world, but it has literally taken the pop culture world, the news world, and pretty much everyone by storm. And I didn't foresee this kind of level of exposure. Obviously, I know Matt Rife is a mainstream comedian, right? So it was always going to be talked about in bits and pieces, but it was absolutely enormous. This sale is bigger than just the paranormal. This is, cultural to a degree. And it's been talked about absolutely everywhere. And even people like Zach Bagans have weighed in on the situation, talking about the sale of the Warrens Museum. So over on Matt Rife's Instagram page, obviously, they made the announcement, they made the announcement over on their YouTube channel on a live stream. Matt Rife and Elton Castee announced on haunted location, and then they announced on the live stream that it was actually the Warrens Museum. We've spoken about that in a bit of depth. Matt Rife over on his Instagram stated, insane announcement, I've officially purchased Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and occult museum, including the legal guardian for at least the next 5 years of the entire haunted collection, including the Annabelle doll. Now, obviously note there that it's not, they don't own the haunted attractions or property. They are the legal guardians, right? So the people that owned it before are still the legal owners of them, but they are the guardians as they own the property that they are being held within. with my good friend Elton Castee. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with the paranormal and all things haunted. You also know that the Conjuring films are my favourite scary movies of all time, so I'm incredibly honoured to have taken over one of the most prominent properties within the paranormal history. Ed and Lorraine Warren arguably put demonology and paranormal into the mainstream and are at the very heart of some of the most famous haunted stories of all time: The Conjuring House, Amityville Horror, etc. We plan to open the house for overnight stays and museum tours, so you yourself can experience and learn about the haunted history surrounding this amazing place. Obviously, very exciting times, and the Ghost Adventures crew have actually jumped on this. I think this is a fan page. Oh no, it's the official. Yeah, it's the official fan page of it. Right, my boy Matt Rife has a huge announcement, obviously talking about taking it over. Matt Rife also spoke over on his TikTok page. About it, right here.
Warren's
I can't
home.
pause it, so.
Hey guys, super random but incredible announcement. I have just bought the Ed and Lorraine Warren's Home and Occult Museum with my very good friend Elton Castee. If you guys have ever seen any of the Conjuring films, the Annabelle films, or even Amityville Horror, this is the home that inspired all of those stories. This might be the most important and prominent piece of paranormal history in the world. Ed and Lorraine Warren are who took demonology and ghost hunting and paranormal investigation and made it mainstream. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't know what any of this means whatsoever, but if you follow ghost stuff, this is about as big as it gets. So what does this all mean? It means that Elton Castee and myself are the owners of the physical Ed and Lorraine Warren's Home and Occult Museum. We are the legal guardians and caretakers of all 750 haunted artifacts and items in the Warren Museum, including the Annabelle doll. I must go on record and say we do not legally own the items, but we are the legal guardians and caretakers of the items for at least the next 5 years. And what this means for you guys is you are going to soon be able to book a night or a weekend and stay at the Warren's house and investigate the house and the history of the house, as well as the museum and all the artifacts inside of it. This is the most random hobby ever, but it's so fucking cool, man. I should probably collect stamps or something. Might be a little safer. But, yeah, we own the house, and we are very excited for you guys to see it. Stay tuned.
Obviously, it's quite a big deal. Everyone's talking about it. I believe... Don't quote me on this, but I believe I've heard through the rumour mill that they're going to get the tours and things set up for end of October, start of November. Obviously, around the autumn Halloween season. So you can't actually go in and book it right here, right now. You can't just go today. You have to wait until it's all up and running. They have done one paranormal investigation in the house, and they have done it with none other than Exploring with Josh in a 2-part live stream that spans well over about 6.5 hours. So, you know, if you find yourself with 6.5 hours of free time and you want something to do, you can go and check out the first paranormal investigation within the Warren Occult Museum, now that it's owned by Elton Castee and Matt Rife. Deserto have also chimed in on this. Comedian Matt Rife has purchased the Conjuring, the home that the Conjuring house was based on. He is the legal guardian of the original Annabelle doll and over 700 other cursed artifacts. I mean, this is absolutely insane. One top comment was, "Hey Grok, remind me of this post when the comedian Matt Rife is reported dead." It's, oh my god, it's just absolutely mental. People are just kind of waiting for something to happen, obviously, because the man who was the legal guardian previously of Annabelle, of course, suddenly passed away of unfortunate terms. Was nothing to do with the Annabelle doll, by the way, but, you know, like, that's just how it goes. Now, Zach Bagans, of all people, has also chimed in on this because, as you can imagine, Zach Bagans, obviously, is one of the biggest notable figures within the paranormal world. Whether you love him or whether you hate him, it doesn't matter. The fact is that he is arguably the most notable figure in the world when it comes to the paranormal, okay? But could his reputation as number one top dog potentially be tarnished here? You know, with the likes of Elton Castee and Matt Rife doing what they've done, and also with what they plan to do in a future video. Let me talk to you about that in another episode. But Zach Bagans over on his official Twitter page, where he's still got me blocked. Not that I'm salty about it, but I'm salty about it. To the thousands of people who have sent me and keep sending me the Annabelle Doll / Warren Occult Museum news, no, I did not have the opportunity to purchase, nor did I hear from Matt Rife about it. Wish them the best with their project. Alright, and then Elton did repost this. Appreciate it, man. Your museum is one of the most incredible places I have ever been. And then the hands up clap emoji. So, you know, Zach was not aware of the purchase. He was not made aware by Matt Rife. Of course, Matt Rife was in one of the most recent episodes of Ghost Adventures in the recent series. You know, I think it's in good hands, personally. I think Matt Rife and Elton Castee are a good fit for the location, if I'm perfectly honest. The fact that this... I truly still thought, up until the deadline day, that they had bought the Conjuring house out of some absolutely insane kind of, like, just turn of events. But no, this is arguably bigger. I actually think this is a better turn of events than what actually happened, or what could have happened. Because I think that the Warren Occult Museum, with the Annabelle doll, is absolutely huge. And far bigger than that of the Conjuring house. The Conjuring house is now obviously very popular for the wrong reasons, whereas this... Some people may still see it as, you know, popular for the wrong reasons, but, you know, it's definitely up there. What do you guys think, though? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this, on Zach Bagans' response to this. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of underlying kind of passive aggression within this, but, you know, it just seems like he's setting the record straight with it. But it seems like this purchase is not enough for Matt Rife and Elton Castee, as they have stated that they want to go bigger and scale up even larger. It's definitely no secret right now that Elton Castee and Matt Rife have made one of the biggest purchases in the paranormal in recent history, that of the Warren Occult Museum and the Warrens' actual house. And then they are also the legal guardians of over 750 haunted artifacts from Ed and Lorraine Warren's travels through paranormal times, I guess, including the Annabelle doll. So obviously, you know, this is absolutely enormous, and people have gone absolutely mental. Zach Bagans has spoken out about it. Obviously, I mentioned that in yesterday's video, but today they're not finished, or it doesn't seem like they are finished, ladies and gentlemen, as Elton Castee and Matt Rife just seem to be an absolute bankroll right now, and it seems like they are not finished with the Occult Museum, or the Warrens' house, and they are still keen to push for none other than the Conjuring house. Yes, the same Conjuring house that has been left abandoned for about 8 or 9 months now, hasn't allowed anybody in since December of last year. It hasn't had a business license. The current owner, Jacqueline Nunez, isn't even allowed in the state of Rhode Island, because if she goes there, she's got an arrest warrant out. The house is literally just been left to rot and wither away, and nobody knows what on earth is going on right now. All we know is that it's just an absolute mess. It has been speculated by many, and people that I do trust with this kind of information, that chances are the house is probably going to be suffering from a hell of a lot of renovation work, or needing a hell of a lot of renovation work, because it obviously had a lot of issues with the pipes down in the basement over the when it was at the best of times. And then as things kind of progressed, obviously it was left over the winter and over the summer. You know, pipes could potentially burst, and then the water could evaporate up into the floorboards that aren't even the best of the best of times. They're going to have black mold issues. It's going to be one hell of a mess, right? That's all a theory, you know, but it's a plausible theory. Now, I messaged Elton Castee, and I feel like I can kind of share this information now because I've you know, the information's become public. But I messaged him and just said, hey mate, just wanted to say a huge congratulations to you and Matt for the Warrens' house. That's insane work, bro. He said, thanks man, we're still pushing for the Conjuring house too. So I knew about this back in Friday, before it became public knowledge, because, you know, I'm just that guy, ladies and gentlemen. And I just said, that would be pretty class, actually. I think you'd have a tough job in your hands with that one, though. Laughing emoji. And he said, we're persistent and, more importantly, patient. My gut says that it will happen. Fingers crossed. I said, I hope so, man. I really do. That place deserves better than what it currently has. And if you or Matt and Matt just want... or one of you has the time, I'd love to chat to you about the new property and your plans going forward. My channel isn't big or anything, but it'd be great to catch up with you about it. He saw it, didn't reply. Womp womp. rest in peace me. But, you know, that's by the by, it's irrelevant. The point is that they are still pushing for the Conjuring house. And this has now been made public knowledge, as Sarah Ganelli, you may remember this lady as the reporter over in Rhode Island, who was talking about the whole Conjuring house controversy, as they like to call it. And she put up a post on her Twitter page stating, the Conjuring house isn't just a paranormal home to Matt Rife and Elton Castee. Here's why the two friends said that they want to buy the property after purchasing the Warren home in Connecticut. Here's the interview.
Comedian Matt Rife and YouTuber Elton Castee are making another push to buy the Conjuring house. This comes after the news broke that they bought the Warren house in Connecticut. In July, they sent this offer letter to the owner of the Conjuring house to buy the property. But why would the two friends want to buy both properties?
Kind of breaks our heart to see it like this in the current state, and we just would really love to make this a place where people can experience it from all over the world.
Matt Rife sent me this statement that reads, as a fan of the paranormal, film, and the history of the property and the land it sits on, it'd be an honor to help preserve its beauty. Elton says it's not just that they love to do paranormal investigations, but the reason that they want to buy the Conjuring house goes much deeper than that. About a year ago, the pair went to the Conjuring house to film this YouTube video to explore paranormal activity. Elton invited his friend Dan Rivera. Dan was the official handler of the Annabelle doll. Fast forward to earlier this year when Matt, Elton, Dan, and another friend are in the process of buying the Warren home, and then Dan suddenly passes away.
How the universe works, but little did we know that would be the only time Matt and Dan would meet, even though we were all going to become partners together at the Warren house.
At the Warren house, they plan to have overnight guests who will also have access to the famous Warren Museum that's attached to the property. And not only that, they want to bring equipment to the house that guests can actually use. And they want to do exactly that at the Conjuring house here in Rhode Island.
Preserving these memories and also making it more attainable for people to experience it themselves and not just through a movie screen.
So what's happened to the Conjuring house? Well, the owner, Jacqueline Nunez, lost the business entertainment license last year. It used to be a spot where paranormal enthusiasts from all over the world used to come and visit. I reached out to Jacqueline to see if she plans on selling the house to Matt and Elton or what the future holds for the property, but I didn't hear back.
Now, I highly doubt that she will hear back because obviously Jacqueline has made it very, very, known to the world in multiple Facebook posts, interviews, and stuff like this that she has no intent of selling the property whatsoever. Now, of course, those statements did come back earlier this year and late last year. We're now 8 months in. All right, I can only imagine that a property like this that cost over $1.5 million or $2.5 million, I can't remember what the final price was. I think it was $1.5 million that Jacqueline paid, right? It is probably starting to become a financial burden, especially as there's no income being generated from the property whatsoever. Now, a lot of people will be saying, that they want it sold, of course. I can only imagine that Elton Castee and Matt Rife are probably the people that people want it to go to. I know Jason Hawes is still being touted, but he's also stated he has no intent of purchasing that property whatsoever. And I can only imagine that Jacqueline Nunez will not sell to someone like Jason Hawes after she's been so publicly critical of him online. Now, obviously, Elton has retweeted this video that I've just shown you from Sarah Ganelli and stated, I think it goes without saying that Matt and I would still love to purchase the Conjuring house and bring that legendary property back for the public use and paranormal investigators. Hopefully, the universe reads this and helps to make it happen. And the response is just absolutely, people would just absolutely love to try and see this happen. People want this to happen. People want to see, they want to see this happen. I don't think, well, actually, it's hard to know, all right, because we don't know what kind of, if there's any, developments with Jacqueline Nunez whatsoever. She's been very, very quiet, even over on her social medias, which is unlike her, especially after what we saw late last year. It was basically what this channel was actually built on. It's been quite a whirlwind. Do I personally think she's going to sell it? I think there could be a chance now. I think there could be a chance. I think it'll be a bit of an uphill battle. I don't think she's going to let it go easily. But I can't imagine that she's a savvy businesswoman. right? She is at the heart of it. Even after everything that's kind of gone on, and you know, the mental deterioration that, like, I personally feel like there has been, she's not silly. She'll know that this is probably financially absolutely draining for her to just hold on to a property. Like, it's almost like just cutting your nose off to spite your face. I don't know, though. I'm not a business person, so I could just be chatting a load of bollocks. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. It's going to be an interesting turn of events for sure. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you think that Matt Rife and Elton Castee are the right fit for the Conjuring house, or do you think it should go to someone else? But not everyone is happy with the sale and purchase of the Warren Museum, as even the Warrens' grandson has spoken out against the purchase. Without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest thing to happen in the paranormal recently, of course, is the sale of the Warrens' house to Elton Castee and Matt Rife. And this has been met with, to say a mixed bag of reactions, I think would be quite an understatement. Some people are ecstatic at the proposition of this purchase, and some people are like a bit like meh. And it turns out that not everyone absolutely loves it as much as others. I think that's fair to say. And that's what we're going to be covering today, as the grandson of the Annabelle owner has spoken out about this and has basically stated that they're not particularly happy about the purchase. So, to cut a very long story short, the grandson of the Annabelle owner doesn't approve of the sale of the guardianship of his family's famous occult home. So, of course, we are talking about the grandson to Lorraine Warren, who started up the Warren Legacy Foundation not too long ago when Lorraine Warren was still alive, to basically continue the work of Ed and Lorraine Warren even when they are gone. Now, these guys have been a bit of a bone of contention recently anyway, as Boo Production has already made a video about how their dodgy practices has basically meant that he had to step away from the Warren's Legacy Foundation. But let me give you a bit of an overview on the Warren Foundation before we get into why they're not happy about the sale of the Occult Museum. So the Warren Legacy Foundation primarily refers to the paranormal research established in 2014 by Lorraine Warren and her grandson Chris McKinnell, and it is a worldwide network of professionals dedicated to studying the paranormal phenomena, educating the public, training future paranormal researchers, aiding psychics, and assisting individuals in experiencing paranormal issues. The foundation continues to work with renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, known for cases like the Conjuring and the Amityville Horror. And basically, they go on paranormal investigations led by key figures like Joe Franke, chairman and chief investigative officer, who has over 37 years of experience and trained under the Warrens. There's also public education, so through lectures, such as those by Joe Franke at libraries and in community events. The foundation raises awareness about the occult and paranormal phenomena. There's then training and resources, and there's also merchandise sales, you know, because I guess you've got to keep the money rolling. Now, the whole idea of this was to basically continue the legacy, I suppose, of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And obviously the house is the last tie that was to Ed and Lorraine Warren. And now with Matt Rife coming in and Elton Castee to purchase the property, you know, it's not exactly, some people wouldn't deem it to be the most serious of people. I personally think that they are a good fit for the property, but that's not everyone's bread and butter. So let me continue reading this Instagram post. Matt Rife and Elton Castee just bought the Ed and Lorraine Warren's infamous home, the one behind the Conjuring franchise. Now Rife is looking after the real Annabelle doll and announcing it past weekend. Ed and Lorraine Warren were paranormal investigators that acquired the Annabelle doll, and their grandson has taken to social media to speak out. Now, this is kind of where we get into it, because this is posted, it looks to be either over on TikTok or maybe over on Facebook as well, from the Warren Legacy Foundation account, which is the account of the grandson who goes by the name of Chris McKinnell. Okay, so here, over on TikTok, he stated, "I don't have a problem with the buyers. Anybody could have bought it, but I'm worried about the public going in without understanding what they are exposed to." A family legacy. So this looks like a thread that has been posted over onto Facebook. I think anyway. I've kept quiet for as long as I could. Maybe longer than I should have. Over the years, I've become increasingly estranged from my family due to deep differences in how we view and perceive the legacy of my grandparents, Ed and Lorraine Warren. At the heart of that distance is a sincere disagreement about how sacred this work truly is, and how it should be handled with reverence, not publicity. Most recently, I voiced my concern about Annabelle being taken on tour. Obviously, that was with Dan Rivera, and the Devil on the Run tour. And now I'm watching the only real home I've ever known, the one place in the world that I've felt unquestionably like home, be turned into a tourist attraction. Let me be clear, I have nothing against Matt Rife. I don't know who he was until a few days ago. I believe his intentions are good, and I don't hold him responsible for the decisions that led to this moment. But for me, this is deeply personal. My grandparents weren't just paranormal investigators, they were my anchors. I remember riding my bike to their house as a kid. I remember my grandmother making me toasted tomato and cheese on rye. I remember holidays spent there, the quiet wisdom they shared, and the unshakable sense of duty they felt to protect people that they couldn't always see or understand. I've lived in over 100 places around the world, but that house, that museum, was my constant in my life. I've lived in obviously, this is a continuation. I wasn't consulted, I wasn't involved, and for years now I've often been misunderstood, called things like a narcissist or attention seeking, but that's never been who I am. I don't want to be famous, I want to help people, I want to honour the responsibility my grandparents entrusted it to all of us, to protect the living, respect the dead, and never turn this sacred work into a spectacle. I don't know what comes next, but I know I couldn't stay silent. The legacy matters. It's not a brand, it's not content, it's not entertainment, it's sacred. To those who've reached out, tagged me, or simply taken a moment to listen, thank you. I see you. All I'll do, keep standing for what, and I'll keep standing for what I believe in, even if I have to do that alone. And then obviously there is the picture of these, new owners, not the owners of Annabelle, just the legal guardians is how they've chimed it, right? So obviously it's very interesting to see this kind of take, because as the last link, I suppose, to Lorraine Warren to a degree through this foundation, to have that person kind of speak out about it and to say that it's they're not happy that what was a family property to them and what was a sacred place become a tourist attraction. It's I kind of understand it to a degree. I do believe that when they opened up the occult museum, obviously at that point it was always going to become a tourist attraction, and now that Matt Rife and Elton Castee own it, they're going to want to monetize it. They're going to want to open that up to the general public, and that is what they are planning to do. You can see both sides of it. You can see why they would want to open it up to the public, because paranormal enthusiasts would love to go and visit the Annabelle doll. It is deemed to be the most haunted attraction in the world. And you can see the side of it from Chris McKinnell, who's stating, this isn't a tourist attraction, this is what I called home for a long time and where I love to be. So you can kind of see it from both sides, but ultimately, what's happened has happened, and it's going to go ahead regardless. But it just seems to show that not everybody is particularly jumping for joy like the rest of us. And to round it up, you've probably seen it on your For You pages by now, but Sam and Colby have done something absolutely insane. Sam and Colby are about to do one of the biggest paranormal collaborations, I think, in history, across YouTube at least, as they have compiled 20 YouTubers, not just paranormal YouTubers, but 20 YouTubers, and taken them to one of the most haunted villages, arguably on the planet, and has just let them go for a period of time. Pretty insane stuff. So this was announced across, you might have seen it if you follow these people on social media. across pretty much every single person's social media platform. So Sam and Colby were one of the first to talk about it, and they stated, "We hosted the biggest paranormal collaboration of all time. 20 YouTubers, half believers, half skeptics, all against one demon controlling a haunted city. Get ready this Sunday, 11:11 a.m. PST, to see how it unfolds." And as you can see from the photo that has been shared, there are some big names in here. We've obviously got Sam and Colby, we've got Dakota Layden, Mackie and Amanda, we've got Celina Spooky Boo, we've got Groovy Gavin, by far one of my favourites for paranormal content. And then we've got some other names mixed in there as well. And even if you just look at the comment section, Dakota Layden, "The half skeptics, half believers made this night extremely interesting. Groovy Gavin, craziest ghost hunt of my life. Celina Spooky Boo, they are not ready." You know, people, even YouTube, about to be the collab of the year. You know, people are excited for this. Some people, like, even stating that this is their first ever time ghost hunting, and they get thrown into this haunted city. Now, you're probably wondering, where in the hell is this place? Well, Sam and Colby gave us a little nugget of information. They posted this: Haunted Billy Creek Village. Now, I've done a little bit of digging into the haunted Billy Creek Village, and I found some interesting stuff. And it turns out that this isn't just some cock and bull story made for a narrative. Apparently, there's a bit of something to this. So, the Billy Creek Village is located near Rockville in Park County in Indiana, and is a 70-acre open-air living history museum that recreates life from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. It was founded back in 1964 and opened in 1969. It consists of 38 historical buildings, including a general store, a schoolhouse, a church, 3 covered bridges, all relocated from various parts of central Indiana. I've just realised that I've not changed to the right account, so now you've got ads running. Great stuff. You're welcome, Sam and Colby. Have some ad revenue. Anyway, these structures, some over a century old, are filled with antiques and artifacts, offering an immersive historical experience with demonstrations like blacksmithing and candle making. The village is known for part of the covered bridge capital of the world due to Park County's 31 covered bridges. Now, the village has gained a reputation as one of Indiana's most actively haunted destinations. Obviously, this is the information that we're looking for. Attracting paranormal investigators and history buffs alike. Reported paranormal activity includes apparitions, shadowy figures, footsteps, disembodied voices, and particularly one in the general store, schoolhouse, and covered bridges. Visitors have also claimed to capture images of ghostly figures, such as a child's silhouette in the schoolhouse doorway, and covered bridges are noted for echoing footsteps, possibly amplifying ghostly sounds. While the general store is a hotspot for vivid apparitions of figures seemingly engaged in daily activities. Organised ghost hunts, like those hosted by Haunted Rooms America and Haunted Nights, offer access to the village's haunted areas, with events typically running from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. And participants can use paranormal equipment like EMF meters and trigger objects, and some events even allow overnight stays with sleeping quarters above the general store. Now, the village's haunting reputation is amplified by its proximity to the other reportedly haunted sites, which again adds a lot of context to the situation, such as Indiana State Sanatorium, just a mile and a half away, and the old jail inn in Rockville. In paranormal events like Haunted Histories Tour, sometimes combine investigations with both Billy Creek and the sanatorium. And obviously, you know, people absolutely love this. Now, Billy Creek Village also hosts events like the Wild West Weekends and Zombie Hayride during the Covered Bridge Festival. Now, that's just a little bit of information about the location that they're going to, so you can get a bit of an understanding, because obviously when you think about haunted locations, you think about one particular building. You think about, well, in this case, maybe a sanatorium. You might think of a schoolhouse. You might think of a house, for example, but not an entire village. But this is where these guys have gone. They've clearly hired out an entire village, taken 20 YouTubers there, and just been like, have at it. So it's going to be very intriguing to see. Now, other social media influencers, like the ones that we mentioned in the original Sam and Colby post, have posted about this. So Mackie and Amanda stated, "This is not a drill, Sam and Colby, and so many more amazing creators. Oh, and Mackie and I are dropping videos this Sunday and throughout the week. Sam and Colby trapped 20 YouTubers in a haunted city, and it was as insane as it sounds." And then you've got Dakota Layden. This Sunday, we joined San and Colby in their most insane video to date. 20 YouTubers trapped in a haunted city. We got to explore so many awesome creators. This is going to be an epic video. Project Phil will also be dropping a new video on Sunday as well. And then we've also got Celina Spooky Boo, who dropped the only video trailer from what it looks like. And they stated, Sam and Colby locked 20 YouTubers in a haunted town and overnight, and I was one of them. My video drops this Sunday. So this is the trailer for Celina Spooky Boo's video.
They have locked 20 YouTubers in this haunted city for one whole night. No!
Are we in danger tonight?
Oh!
Stop.
Do you feel like the door should be opened or closed?
I actually feel like the door should be closed.
Oh, wait, actually?
Wow. Okay.
Oh, should we try double confirmation? No!
Let's go.
I see something behind you.
I mean, regardless of what you think about these YouTubers, there's no denying that it is going to be interesting. I mean, like I say, I really, really like Groovy Gavin, who is one of the YouTubers that is involved. I think he's arguably one of the more legit paranormal investigators on YouTube, and he also does like a lot of other investigating into other different topics as well. I think that he's going to be one of the ones to watch for sure. And I definitely think that, you know, getting these people together, like they stated within their promo on Instagram, half of them being skeptics and half of them being believers, is an interesting concept, and it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. From the way that I kind of perceive the way that all of these YouTubers are talking about it, Sam and Colby will probably have a huge video, and then after that, we'll probably see Celina Spooky Boo and Destination Fear and Groovy Gavin and all of these others, that Amaki and Amanda as well, probably upload their own videos about it as well, and probably drawing it all back to the hub, which would be a Sam and Colby video. Not that hub. I know what you're thinking. We can't even access that in the UK without putting in age restrictions now. People are going mental about it, but that's a different story for not this channel and for a different day. But what do you think about this? Do you think that this is an interesting concept? Do you think that this is going to go down well? I think it will. I think it's quite a fun idea for sure. You know, regardless of, you know, people will be like, oh yeah, but they're all fake or all this, that and the other. You know, it's a bit of fun, I guess. What do you guys make of all of this information and all of this news? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.